How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a full-time mid-six-figure Amazon seller, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about probably the most expensive mistake I've made in my entire business career. I'm going to break down exactly what that mistake was. Even though I did make money on this mistake, I'm going to talk about why it could have been the worst thing for my business, and if you're doing the same thing, I'm going to go through some actionable steps for how you're going to be able to grow your business as well. If you're brand new to the channel and you want some more free information, there's going to be a link down below for my completely free Discord server. There's over 15,000 people in there, tons of great information. Would love to see you in there, but let's go ahead and jump into the video. So first off, I want to talk about what exactly that mistake was that would cost me a lot of money, and it's probably not going to sound like a mistake to you, but let me explain why it was a mistake. Before I sold anything else on Amazon, I sold over $180,000 worth of used books, used electronics, stuff that I was buying at thrift stores and reselling on Amazon. The reason I did this for so long is because I started out with about $1,000, about $1,500, not a lot of money at all, and I decided to start selling used books on Amazon. This can be a great way to start your Amazon business because those books are so cheap. You're going to be ungated in a lot of those things naturally, and there's just it's cheap mistakes, right? So you're not making those super expensive wholesale orders, or even creating maybe like a private label product where you're out $5,000, you made a mistake, you don't know what to do. With a used book, you just spend $1, it didn't sell, oh well, I learned a lesson, right? So when I first started selling on Amazon, I sold used books, but I ended up selling used books and only used books for right around 2 full years before I sold anything that was in new condition, anything that was arbitrage or wholesale related. And this ended up being a major mistake. Let me explain why. So in your Amazon business, your number one goal should be to spend the capital that you have allocated to your inventory as fast as possible. You should not have cash sitting around. If you do have cash sitting around, you are not leveraging your Amazon business correctly. I'm not telling you to go out and spend every single dollar you personally have. I'm telling you that if you've allocated money to be inside of your Amazon business, that money should not be in cash. It should either be in inventory, or it should be on your credit card, or it should be cash ready to back up that credit card payment. If you have excess cash over your credit card statements, you are limiting your growth potential massively, and this is going to hurt your business long term. This is something that certainly hurt my business long term. I was diving into Inventory Lab, and off of those used books, I had made about $62,000 over the course of the first 2-ish years on Amazon, which was pretty good money for me. Like, I was just a high school student, I was just selling books, it was like my college hustle. It felt pretty cool that I was able to support myself, but I was not thinking with a businessman's mindset. So if you are stuck in doing used books, or maybe you're doing retail arbitrage, I made a video last week that kind of resonated with some people. It's kind of why I wanted to talk about this mistake that I made, because I made a very similar mistake that a lot of you retail arbitrage sellers might be making in your business. And that is just the limitation, the inherent limitation of the scarcity of the inventory that you have available to you. So for used books, the scarcity that the bottleneck in my business was the actual books that were at the thrift stores, the used bookstores, that kind of stuff. There's only so many good books. I could only spend so many hours scanning books, but I surely tested that. I did a lot of scanning books during college when I should have been leveraging my time correctly. There will come a time in your Amazon business where you are not able to spend the amount of capital you have on used books, retail arbitrage, models that are inherently limited by your by the amount of inventory that you can go out and physically grab. That's where doing models like online arbitrage, wholesale, private label, even online arbitrage is a little bit limited once you get to massive scale, but those models are going to be a lot more sustainable long term. And the reason that this was such a big mistake for my business, I had that $62,000 that I was just sitting around. There's no way I was spending $62,000 on books. As a matter of fact, my total cost of goods sold from that entire period was about $45,000. I had made $62,000 in net profit. The margins on used books, I was actually noticing that my margins were about 35%, which is very high. You will not get that with retail arbitrage or online arbitrage unless you are an absolute ninja, or you're just probably spending too much time on that business. If your margins are that high, there could be an argument to be made there, but that's a separate conversation. But the fact that I did have all that money sitting around meant that I was limiting my growth when I could have been investing that money into products that were generating 30, 35, 40% ROI very consistently, which is very easily found doing online arbitrage, those kind of items. Or maybe you're doing retail arbitrage, arbitrage where you're usually getting 80%, 100%, 120% ROIs. That's awesome. And if you are at a point in your business where you're doing a little bit in sales, maybe a couple $1,000s a month in sales, maybe you're not even there yet, maybe you're working towards that, maybe that's where you need to be. If you're building up your capital, I'm not telling you that those business models suck. They do suck long term, but while you're building up your capital, those high ROIs are going to be amazing for building up that capital. But if you do find yourself in a point where you have a bunch of capital sitting around, it's time to actually go ahead and look into a little bit more scalable business models. So with that in mind, I want to take the second half of this video to go ahead and talk about some actionable steps that you can actually go and take right now that will help you grow your business. If you are someone that's doing used books, you're doing retail arbitrage, and you're worried that you might be limiting your growth, let's go ahead and dive into the computer over here, and I'm going to show you just a couple things you can do to get your business on the right track today. So first I want to talk about what you can actually go out and do right now to start finding products that are just going to be a lot more scalable in the long run. I've gone ahead and pulled up a Walmart brand vitamin here. The reason I've pulled this up is a lot of you retail arbitrage sellers probably have some basic replenishables, but what you need to implement in your business to grow long term is to add products to your catalog that you can consistently buy and buy over and over again. If you've been doing retail arbitrage for a long time, you probably have some of those products that you just know. You've got that 2-pack that you've been doing for a long time. It's got a crazy good ROI. That's where this method is going to come into play. What I would encourage you to do is go get a SellerAmp subscription. There's a code down below, a 2-week free trial, 50% off your first month. It's $18. So you can get this for like 6 weeks for like $9. So invest in your business for literally $10 and check out this tool. But down here on the offers tab of SellerAmp, we can go ahead and click on some of these sellers down here. So I'm going to look for somebody with not a ton of ratings. That way we know that the products they're selling, we can probably find the source fairly easily. So after you do that, in this case, I've pulled up this Spring Valley listing. If you are that retail arbitrage seller I just described and you've got that one product that you keep buying, or maybe you don't have that one product, but you've got a product that you found recently that was pretty good, you can do the same thing on any of those listings because the people who are on these listings are probably buying at the same place as you. That means they're also buying other stuff from the same place as you. So we can go ahead and go through SellerAmp down here and click on the storefront. And now we're looking at every single product they're selling, and it's reasonable to infer that we can probably also just buy the same product. So what we're going to be looking for is items where we can reasonably buy we can look at the item, we can look at the keep a chart over here, and we think we can reasonably buy this item for this max cost right here. If you don't think you can buy it for this max cost, it's easy to scroll past. The reason that I highly encourage SellerAmp is because it has so much information here. You can do this without SellerAmp, but it's such a cheap tool. It's kind of a no-brainer. So we're going to go ahead and use SellerAmp for this method, and we're just going to be looking for items that we think we can buy for about that cost. I'm just scrolling here because there's no way we're getting this for these costs. This might be even more effective when you are doing this on an ASIN that you know is profitable. That's what I've found it to be, in the sweet spot, is when you're searching through some of your best products. That's why I recommend if you've got that one product that you love, look at what the other people on that listing are selling, because those sellers are probably a little bit better than the average seller. Their products are probably going to be a little bit better than the average product. See here, I'm kind of looking at this guy's store, and his prices are very, very low. I even wonder if he might even have a wholesale account somehow. Like, these prices are very low, that or they're just simply not making money. Just because I know what these items cost from Walmart, you'll kind of develop a feel for what items cost over time. And that's where this max cost will come into play, where you're just able to scroll and you're just able to easily tell, like, I'm just scrolling past all these items. I'm like, I just know there's no way I'm buying these items for this price. This one could be borderline. Maybe we can buy this for $12.81, maybe not. If we want to see if we can go ahead and click the Google button here. And it looks like the cheapest I can find it, maybe Poshmark has it, but that's not very scalable. Walmart did have it for $24, but I'm not interested in that because we're looking for a cost of $13. But this is the full method. This is how you're going to be able to find your first product. I was hoping we'd be able to find something right off the bat, but this is literally my favorite way to source products. So if that's you're stuck, you're doing retail arbitrage, dig in with a SellerAmp, start looking through the people who are selling the products you're already selling, see if you can buy them online. So I'll just go ahead and run through the process here. So it looks like this is 12 boxes of it. So kind of a weird example here. But we're going to go ahead and open the Amazon page, and we're going to search for it on Google over here. It looks like Walmart has it for, it looks like $12. looks $13.63. And then over here on Amazon, it's $11.46. So definitely not profitable. That's what leads me to believe that this person's probably wholesaling, meaning they're getting it at wholesale prices, very, very cheap. But your goal is going to be to just click through these listings, look at the ones that you can maybe buy. Like this one kind of sticks out to me. I bet I could maybe buy this whole little Nike set for 20 bucks. I bet I could get fairly close. But you're literally just going to scroll through here. It's going to be extremely tedious when you first start, but retail arbitrage is tedious. Selling books is tedious. But the beautiful part of this is once you get over that tedious process of, copying and pasting, pressing the Google button a bunch of times, once you do find that item, especially when you find items at retail price that you can just keep buying over and over again, you no longer have to go to the thrift store. You no longer have to hope that there's enough product on the shelf for you to sell. You can buy exactly how many you need. And it's really the exact same business model. You're just buying it online from the comfort of your home. The second thing that I would encourage you to do if you are that retail arbitrage or bookseller is go ahead and get ungated. I'm just going to talk about this real briefly as we wrap up this video. But if you're not already ungated in a lot of the major categories, go ahead and check out Frontier Co-op Wholesale or Katy Texas Wholesale and just find a matching item. Order 10 units of it from the wholesaler, find a matching item on Amazon and apply with that invoice. That's how you get ungated. People will try to charge you way too much for that. There you go. But go ahead and take those 2 steps. Find that first product that you're just able to replenish over and over again. That's going to start to build that baseline of your business where you're just able to run your business from home. And then later down the road, you can even get into the whole side of Amazon where you're just buying this product, sending it to your prep center across the country, and you're never touching it. That's what I do. I don't really want to sticker items anymore. My time is better spent than that, and I bet your time is better spent than going to retail stores, going to thrift stores. So I just wanted to break down some of those actionable steps, break down why that mistake could have cost me a ton of money. Sorry if it felt like clickbait in the title. I did not lose that much money, but that was probably the biggest mistake of my Amazon career, and I don't want you to repeat that. If you did enjoy this video and got value out of it, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. That adds some value to my business. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those down below. I'm always happy to answer those, but I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.